Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodhanandana Braja Ranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vandachari Yamuna Tira Vandachari Jaya Radha Madhava Gunda Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodhanandana Braja Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vandachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Kalashanji Radha Kalashanji Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Sri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Together, please. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devyam sarasvatim vyasam tato jaimam yudirayat nashtaprayasha breshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nishtaki. We'll turn to Canto 9. Chapter 3, and we'll start with text 11, and we will go to 17, and then we'll come back to text 11 for our focus verse of the day. Hare Krishna.
Thereafter, some time having passed, the Ashwini Kumara brothers, the heavenly physicians, happened to come to Chavana Muni's ashram. After offering them respectful obeisances, Chavana Muni requested them to give him useful life, for they were able to do so.
Chavana Muni said, "Although you are ineligible to drink Soma Ras in sacrifices, I promise to give you a full pot of it. Kindly arrange beauty and youth for me, because they are attractive to young women."
The great physicians, the Ashwini Kumaras, were gladly accepted Chavana Muni's proposal. Thus they told the Brahmana, "Just dive into this lake of successful life. One who bathes in this lake has his desire fulfilled."
Text 14. After saying this, the Avinash got hold of Chavana Muni, who was old, diseased, and invalid, with loose skin, white hair, and veins visible all over his body, and all three of them entered the lake.
Thereafter, 3 men with very beautiful bodily features emerged from the lake. They were nicely dressed and decorated with earrings and garlands of lotuses. All of them were of the same standard of beauty.
The chaste and very beautiful Shukanya
could not distinguish her husband from the two Ashvini Kumars, for they were equally beautiful. Not understanding who her real husband was, she took shelter of the Ashvini Kumars.
The Ashvini Kumars were very pleased to see Sukanya's chastity and faithfulness. Thus they showed her Shaivana Muni, her husband, and after taking permission from him, they returned to the heavenly planets in their plane.
Okay, we were hearing Saturday from Sankaranaya Prabhu that Chaivana Muni is pretty old, right? He's got this beautiful young wife that he just received, and it's kind of a little awkward, right? He's like, okay, I need to make some adjustments here. So he takes shelter of the Ashvini Kumaris, and they it's kind of funny, right? We have this idea of a youthful lake, right? There's always this kind of tale or myth of the youth lake. You jump in the lake, and so here it is, right here, the youthful lake. Take a dip. It comes out very beautifully. Okay, text 11, please. Kasya chitva ata kalyasya. Kasya chitva ata kalasya. Nasyatya ashramagato. Asyatyav ashramagato. Tau pujaitya prokvacha. Tau pujayatva provacha. Valyo me datyamashvaru. Valyo me datam ishvaro. Bolo, please. Ata kalyasya. Asramagoto. Tau pujatva provacha. Vayo me datam ishvaro. Kasachitva atakalasya. Nastyav ashramagato. Tau pujaitva provacha. Valyo me datam ishvaro. Kasachitva atakalasya. Nasyato asramagato. Tau pujaitva provacha. Vayo me datam ishvaro. Word for word, together please. Kasyashit, after some time, too, but atya, in this way, kalasya, time having passed, nastoyo, the two Ashvini Kumaris, ashrama, the place of Chaivana Muni, agato, reached, jo, unto those two, pujaitya, offering respectful obeisances, provacha, said, Vaya, youth, me unto me, Dyatyam, please give, Ishvaro, because you two are able to do so. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thereafter, some time having passed, the Ashvini Kumara brothers, the heavenly physicians, happened to come to Chaivana Muni's ashram. After offering them respectful obeisances, Chaivana Muni requested them to give him youthful life, for they were able to do so. Purport. The heavenly physicians, like the Ishvini Kumaras, could give youthful life even to one who was advanced in age. Indeed, great yogis, with their mystic powers, can even bring a dead body back to life if the structure of the body is in order. We have already discussed this in the connection with Bali Maharaj's soldiers and their treatment by Shukracharya. Modern medical science has not yet discovered how to bring a dead body back to life or bring youthful energy to an old body. But from this verse, we can understand that such treatment is possible if one is able to take knowledge from the Vedic information. The Ashvini Kumars were expert in Ayurveda, as was Dhanvantari. In every department of material science, there is a perfection to be achieved. And to achieve it, one must consult the Vedic literature. The highest perfection is to become a devotee of the Lord. To attain this perfection, one must consult Srimad Bhagavatam, which is understood to be the ripe fruit of the Vedic desire tree. Nigyam kalpa taror galitam phalam. Omegan timarandasya gananjana shalakaya chakshur anmalitam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master so kindly opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances to him. Vanchikal paturubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Okay. Heavenly physicians. Pretty interesting, huh? The heavenly physicians. And they get this, their powers, their knowledge from the Vedas. So, if you guys would indulge me, I saw last night that, anyways, I would be giving class today. And so I was thinking about creating more of a discussion, instead of just on the spot. So my question is, what do we know about the Vedas? What are the Vedas? How did they come to being? What do we know about the Vedas? Go ahead and just say something and I'll repeat it in the microphone. They're the body of knowledge. Vedas literally means knowledge, right? Yeah, the body of knowledge. Wow. Any other? Okay, I'll sit here till you guys want to participate. What's Vedas? Huh? What do we know about the Vedas? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So Vaishnav is named the four Vedas, right? Thank you very much. Anything else we know about the Vedas? What else do we know about the Vedas? If the Vedas... So in the Vedas, which is knowledge, there's these different categories of knowledge, like Ayurveda, the science of health, right? And the science of weaponry or fighting. Yeah. If the Vedas were all written down and they were we could go to the library of the Vedas. How big would it be? Who knows, right? But it would be big. We could imagine that if we walked into the sanctuary, and it was like 10 times bigger, and it was just a library of the Vedas. Maybe I probably wouldn't want to be close. Who knows? It's so huge. Who wrote the Vedas? Vyasadeva, right? Did Vyasadeva write the Vedas? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Why did he do it? Why did Vyasadeva write the Vedas? To help mankind, right? And in particular, he knew that the mankind was becoming dull in intelligence, right? Before the Vedas was all verbal, right? The sages could hear just once and they would completely remember it. But the memory of everybody in the age of Kali Yuga is very dull. So it needs to be written down. Could you imagine reading the Bhagavad Gita with Srila Prabhupada's purport and the whole thing? You just read it once and you completely have it memorized? That would be pretty cool, huh? Some of these brahmacharis, these nice sticky brahmacharis are pretty amazing in the sense of they have such a great memory. Any other things about the Vedas? What else do we know? Vyasadeva wrote them. There's 4 of them. They're in their knowledge, right? He wrote them in the age, for the age of Kali, for people who were, right? What happened to Vyasadeva after he wrote the Vedas?
He was dissatisfied. He felt like he didn't get the essence.
He was dissatisfied in his heart. He even says there, he says, I'm feeling dissatisfied, and so I know that if I'm dissatisfied, the Lord must not be satisfied. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes when we're in Maya, we think our dissatisfaction is our own dissatisfaction. But a pure personality incarnation like Vyasadeva knows when their heart being cleansed, they know when there's dissatisfaction, they know that that's actually coming from the dissatisfaction of the Lord. So he starts to inquire, why am I dissatisfied? Could you imagine this? Just think about this. I mean, this writing of the Vedas is such an unbelievable work. I mean, we can't even really comprehend how amazing this is. And so we can imagine that whatever we like to do, or whatever thing that we would like to really be amazing at, in a sense, if we did it in such an amazing way. For instance, I played sports when I was younger. And so I could imagine that, I could get into the NFL and I win 20 Super Bowls in a row. Tom Brady is known as the greatest of all time, and he's won 6 Super Bowls, So you're part of a team that wins 20 Super Bowls. It will never be done again. It's actually uncomprehendable. And you get done and you're about to retire and you go, I'm actually not feeling satisfied. You Manjari Gopika is on Broadway, and with 30 Emmys or whatever I don't know if they're called Emmys, but you know what I mean. What are they called? Tonys. There we go. Manjari Gopika wins 20 Tonys in awards in a row, and still you're not feeling satisfied, right? What the heck, And so what happens when Vyasadeva is feeling this dissatisfaction? Narada Muni comes, right? And he confirms the dissatisfaction of Vyasadeva. And so this is also a very important instruction that I was mentioning before, that when we feel dissatisfied, we should be in spiritual consciousness knowing that the Krishna must not be satisfied. However, we should have it reconfirmed by the spiritual master, right? We want that clarity. So the clarity comes from the scriptures, from sadhus, and from the guru, right? So Vyasadeva gets that reconfirmation from his guru Narada Muni. This is, and what does Narada Muni say? Why are you dissatisfied? Because you're not directly glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he says, you've simply encouraged people to enjoy their senses in the name of religion. Can you imagine? You just wrote all the Vedas, and your spiritual master says all you've done is encourage people to take birth again, basically, you know? Oh my gosh, that's pretty heavy, you know? So Srila Prabhupada is saying here that the Vedas, you know, we can use the Vedas, right? We should use the Vedas. We should understand them. They help us to be experts in our certain field so that we can serve the devotees, right? We should have transcendental vision that every person is a child of God. And therefore, if we're very well versed in our certain service, then we can help people. And you know, in Vedic times, the Brahmanas knew so much science. You know, they were the doctors, they were the physicians, they were the astrologers. They had so much knowledge, and people would come to them and they'd ask for help, and they would help them. Oh yeah, your Vatsu's off in your house. Do like this, switch it like this, and stuff like that. But they would always say, and remember that you can do this, but the only way you're going to be truly happy is if you connect with the Supreme Lord, right? So there's a concept that to really have influence on somebody, they need to know you, they need to like you, and then they'll trust you, right? So these are tools that we can use to gain trust, get to know people, and then they will inquire from us about the absolute truth. So it's very intelligent in this day and age about how we can actually see that we don't stick our nose up the Vedas because they're not the absolute truth, but we can see that they are tools. They're a tool that we can use to be expert in our field. And most importantly is that Bhakti Yoga, through Bhakti Yoga, you know, Srila Prabhupada so wisely says, in $1 million, there's $1,000, right? So we develop this knowledge through through devotional service and becoming connected to the pure devotee, right? So, very importantly is the character that we develop. It says in Guru Puja, you know, each morning, Vedega Yahara Charito, right? Yes, but the Vedas sing of your character, right? And so one thing is, when we don't have the ability to dive so deeply into the Vedic knowledge and understand it so vastly, that's okay. Let's work on our character and our attitude. When you work and you're around people, that's all. One of the things you realize very quickly is who is this person? What's their attitude like? Are they a show-off? Are they greedy? Are they smart, as in a smart aleck? You know, are they challenging? Or whoa, this person has a really good attitude. They have this attitude that really of resilience, determination, humility, tolerance, so many characteristics we are being encouraged so much by seeing in our acharyas, right? So we come to Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada says here at the very end, to attain the perfection one must consult Srimad Bhagavatam. Anamat Swami says, every psychological situation is presented in Srimad Bhagavatam, meaning that any situation that we come across, we can connect it with Srimad Bhagavatam. It might not look the same externally, but psychoanalytically, I don't know the word, but meaning that our attitude and the way we perceive it and the way we see it, we can connect it in our life. Oh yeah, I remember this happened to this devotee, and this situation happened, and I kind of can see it in my life. Oh, I should act like this, right? Or I should avoid that, right? So the Srimad Bhagavatam is so practical as long as we are consistently taking guidance from it, right? Each morning, you say regular attendance on classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Cleansing the heart almost completely. And loving service becomes an irrevocable fact. So, we I had a thought and it just whoop went away. Hare Krishna. So, oh, I remember now. So I had this experience when I was in Krishna House. It was really cool because, we had 1.8 to 10 students, right? And we were all studying Bhagavatam together, right? And we were living very closely together in the sense of, we went to Bhagavad Gita class, we were practicing sadhana, and so you get very close, right? And this amazing thing would happen so often that whatever was being presented in Srimad Bhagavatam, there'd be something going on around the house that was like really directed towards it. And you at first I was kind of like, whoa, this is cool, and I started asking, like Drista and stuff like that. And we were all like, yeah, this is amazing. Then also we read Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning, and we do Bhagavad Gita class in the evening. And so many times, if not just about every time, Srila Prabhupada would say something in the Bhagavad Gita that would pertain to Srimad Bhagavatam class in the morning. It was just like this amazing synchronicity, right? So one of my, having this experience, one of my dreams is that a village where each and every person in the village is reading Srimad Bhagavatam in the same area, right? So the kids might be reading Srimad Bhagavatam at class and stuff, but they're reading the same part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then there might be some people that are more scholarly and they want to they're reading Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Jiva Goswami's commentary, but they're reading the same, the same part of it. And, there's us having our Srimad Bhagavatam class like this. And so the point is, and I could just imagine the amazing things that would start to happen in the village. Everybody starts syncing up, and Srimad Bhagavatam, there's, some kind of drama over here, and everybody's like, this is like Indra. Okay. And Srimad Bhagavatam's like that. You know why? You know what? It's not just a dream, some like fantasy and stuff. I have some proof, right? Nanda Braja isn't just being sentimental. You know what the proof is? Does anybody have an idea of what the proof of what life is like if everybody's reading Srimad Bhagavatam? Achyuta Govinda Prabhu said Goloka Vrindavan. I was like, actually kind of, he went to the very top. How about recently we have recently this happened. We have a situation where we can see this happening. Any ideas? Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is Chaitanya Charitamrita. When you have a bunch of devotees have gone together and are living Srimad Bhagavatam, reading it together, all for each other, helping each other, and all for each other's success and pleasing the Supreme Personality of Lord, you get Chaitanya Charitamrita. Amazing, huh? So my thought, when I went through this purport, I was like, okay, Vedas, Bhagavatam, and then actually I didn't even think about Chaitanya Charitamrita, but that came up here. So the Vedas, they're full of knowledge. They're really, they bring us from one mode to, and are working to bring us up, right? And also we can use them as a tool as devotees, that we can, we have the best. We have the best social life, best friendships. We have the best physical health knowledge available. We have the best financial health available, understanding. And so we just need to use these and stuff, but we understand we're not doing it for religious purposes. We're using it for the purpose of pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and especially in encouraging others to come to Him, right? And so we have the Bhagavatam, which is the creme de la creme of all of the Vedic literatures. We can go to it. It gives us every situation we can imagine in life and how to work through it and how to make our lives amazing. And if we do this, especially in Sankirtan, meaning that we're chanting the holy names with a group of devotees, right, together, and even more than a kirtan once in a while, we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam together, we're encouraging each other, we're nurturing each other's relationships, following the 6 loving exchanges between devotees, then we get to live Chaitanya Charitamrita. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hare Krishna. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for class. The point you made about your Guru Maharaj mentioning that every situation or circumstance that we can think of in life is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. Actually, I was really resonating with that point. The last few classes we've been having are on so many diverse topics. And if you would think about why would Parikshit Maharaj at the time of death need to hear in the last 7 days of his life about the pastime of Sukanya or Shraddhadev, all of these, like, it just sounds, but then you're like, okay, but this is so instructive for me. It's almost as if, he knew that this is not just for Parikshit Maharaj. I mean, not almost as if he knew this is not just for Parikshit Maharaj, but this is for all of us who, generations after would be hearing and benefiting. So I really resonated with that point. And then I was just curious if anybody thought, in India, or maybe from Ayurveda, there's a tonic that everybody gets if they're not in good health. It's called Chavan Prash. And I was just thinking while reading this pastime, the name again, Chavan, is very unique. And I was like, maybe that Chavan Prash must have come from this name for Chavan Muni, because, he got his health back. And so if you take this, I always, I don't know much about Ayurveda, but that tonic is very prominent. Okay, you want good health, you should take Chavan Prash. So anybody have any thoughts? Anyway, those were my 2 thoughts. Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate this point that Maharaj Parikshit, hearing all these things as a service for others, and that's the epitome. This is the epitome of becoming a devotee, is that you actually are living for others. You're not even living for your own. You're always living for others. You're living for Krishna, but more important, you're the servant of the servant of the servant. So you're even living for others. We hear this like, Arjun, is never in Maya. he only did this for our purpose. And then you have nice, wonderful realizations like that oh, okay, you know, did Maharaj Parikshit need to hear about some of these stories and stuff? Oh, he was, you know, but how much are we gaining from hearing about this conversation? I've been, anyways, I was watching these videos about, you know, Charlie Kirk died recently, and so there's, you know, so much controversy around him and stuff. And so I'd watch some debates between him and other people in this. And this one thing that comes up about there's only two sexes and stuff like that. And often there's this point of view of that if you're homosexual or trans, it's from the Christians, it's all psychologically sickening. Like you have some kind of mental disease, you know, and it's actually like a psychological thing and stuff like that. But then and I was like, I remember thinking, I would like to be able to get some information to be able to argue this in an intelligent way. Because sometimes when I see people argue with them, it's very, anyways, it's emotional and like you never. So I was like, because I know that in our literatures, I knew to a certain degree that for history, there's been this situation of people that are gay or this or that. And so when we read that, the purports a couple of times ago about, you know, the what was the person's name that was the king that would go from woman to man and man to woman and stuff like that. I was like, okay, you know, this is in the Vedas, you know. And so what I'm trying to say is something so seemingly not necessary in a sense like that, we can actually use it. So I'm not like, I'm kind of redefining or defining my debate in the sense of if I was to talk about this to a Christian, but it was a piece of my puzzle to go, oh, okay, you know, this is a real thing. This isn't always a psychological thing, but also I have anyways, Hare Krishna. My point being is that, you know, I was thinking about this, like how to debate this and how to really have an intelligent conversation about this real thing that's going on in our world right now. And if I was to talk to somebody on this side or that side or this side or that side, how would I present it in a Vedic manner and stuff like that? And I'm not saying I have it. I'm not like, you know, I'm saying, but it was a piece of the puzzle. And so it's really interesting to me that's how Srimad Bhagavatam aligns like that. You know, I never, you know, you're going through something and all of a sudden some information come, you know. Anyways, any other comments, thoughts? Mishra Bhagavan Prabhu?
I was listening online, so I'm not sure if I got it right. You said it was not religion?
What's not religion? What?
Srimad Bhagavatam, this culture, you said it's not a religion.
I don't know if I said that exactly, but I said that when Narada Muni said that you simply, when Vyasadeva wrote the Vedas, he has simply encouraged people to enjoy their senses in the name of religion. So so I don't remember saying directly that Srimad Bhagavatam isn't religion. This is something that I'd like to hear you guys. Something it's very interesting to me. What is religion and not religion? Because it seems to me like so many times we talk about in our, Srila Prabhupada talks about in religion in one way. And then we hear religion in a different way. Like religion means legion or ligament, to connect, to reconnect with the Supreme, right? So this is a process of how, religion is a process of how to which connect to the Supreme. Say it's like yoga, in a sense, like to connect, or yoke, to connect. And so we understand that when we come up to a certain platform, there's no need more to learn how to connect. You are connected. You're not practicing religion. You're like, you've met the goal of the religion. You're already there. So are you practicing religion anymore? Not really, So is Srimad Bhagavatam religion? Well, Srila Prabhupada though says that in the the introduction, that there's a need for one religion. There is a need for one God. And this Srimad Bhagavatam is it. So then I get confused. I'm like, wait a minute. But I think sometimes, by the way, I'm more than glad to get corrected and hear about this. It seems to me sometimes Srila Prabhupada uses religion in the sense of what the general public understands, and then sometimes he'll use the word religion in what the true meaning of religion means. You see? He says, this isn't religion. But then he'll say to people in public, like, this is the one religion, or Bhagavad Gita. So it's kind of interesting. What do you think? Any of you guys have any?
Well, I heard it's not a religion, it's a science.
Yeah.
But it looks like a religion. This looks kind of like a church. Well, we seem to be religious people.
How much of science is religion when it's connected to God? Are they different? Science and religion? Basically, they're a theory, practice it, and see if it's true, It's kind of the same thing in a sense. But we have an idea of science being this, process that's disconnected with God. But when it's connected with God, science of self-realization, is it religion? I think so. I think it's yoga to reconnect, Hare Krishna. Any other thoughts about that, maybe? Religion? Hare Krishna. I feel like
philosophy without religion is mental speculation. We just read that one yesterday. Yeah. So it seems like for us, practicing Krishna consciousness, we have both the religious aspects, the cultural religious practices, and the philosophy. So.
Then we have the end of Bhagavad Gita, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender to me, do not fear, I will take care of you, right? Sarva dharma pratyaja. Krishna, interesting, says abandon all varieties of religion. So stop dabbling in this, dabbling in that, abandon all the varieties of religion, Okay. I think more questions come to me, because philosophy, religion without philosophy is sentiment. But then, still, what is religion, right? Because I think, from what I understand, Bhakti yoga goes above religion. It's no longer a religion. It's our dharma. It's our innate nature is Bhakti yoga, right? And that's not a religion. That's essence. That's dharma. That's you. But how do we get there is religion, right? But then in Bhakti Yoga, we have some moments in time where we're, please help me if you know it's flickering, right? Vaidhi Bhakti? Is that flickering? Vaidhi, is it? Yeah. Vaidhi Bhakti, is it? Is that right? Where you're flickering? Anyways, there's one, the science of these different stages. One is that you have confidence. You've developed that confidence, but yet you're flickering back and forth from Bhakti Yoga to practicing, you're going back and forth. Yeah. So your faith isn't, your faith isn't quite all the way there, right? You're flickering. I should read Nectar of Devotion better. You're reading Nectar of Devotion. What is it? What's that platform? What's that? No, you haven't gotten there? Okay. I'm reading it also. Anyways. So the point being is that there's these stages of bhakti, right? And, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, I believe. And then, and it keeps going. And there's a point where it's no longer religion. It's like you're there, right? And now you're just redefining your bhakti and growing in the ecstasy of it. By the way, there's people listening on YouTube that are very much more advanced in this situation. You can please make any comments on our Srimad Bhagavatam. By the way, we will be making a Srimad Bhagavatam WhatsApp group that we can ask questions in there. One of the things that we're going to talk about is how people online can send in questions when Srimad Bhagavatam's class is going on. Oh my gosh. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Brahmanande Hari Hari Bol. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Antikoti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai.